For those of you that want to get into snakes but don't want to spend an entire fortune on them, here are 7 cheap snakes that are perfect for beginners. Let's get right into it. The first species we'll be talking about on this list is the Kenyan Sand Boa. Kenyan Sand Boas are a small species of snakes, only getting to about 2.5 feet. They've been in the pet trade for a very long time, which means that you can probably find a normal Kenyan Sand Boa for like 25 bucks at a pet show. And when I say pet show, I mean like a reptile expo like Repticon or I think NARBC. There's a lot of different reptile shows. Just honestly go on your Facebook and type in like local reptile shows, or even on Google, and you'll probably be able to find one. They're easy to care for, they're cute, they look like chunky noodles. They also like to burrow. If you give them a mixture of like cocoa fiber and some sand and stuff, they love to burrow and kind of pop their little eyes right out of the dirt and sand. It's the cutest thing ever. You can comfortably keep one in a 20 gallon. I would say maybe like a 29 gallon or 30 long, but a 20 gallon is perfect, especially for males. Males stay a lot smaller than the females, and that's with most species of snakes. The next species on this list is the children's python. The children's python is one of 4 in a genus of species called Antaresia. It's one of the smallest pythons in the world, and they stay a calm and manageable size of about 3 feet. They're a very hardy species, so it's not really hard to take care of them. I honestly think they're kind of better than ball pythons. The reason I say that is because ball pythons, they can be very finicky when eating. One of my ball pythons actually went 6 months without eating. So if you're barely getting into snakes, that 6-month gap where your snake is not eating, it could scare you, and it could be difficult to know what to do. So I would say a children's python is a lot better option. They're kind of cheap right now. I actually found one at a reptile show for about 100 bucks. You can go on Morph Market and probably find them for about the same amount of money. I did see some that were like usually ranging in like $200 to $300 range, but like I said, I saw them at $100 and they're getting more and more frequent, so that price might go down even more. Next species on the list is the Western Hognose Snake. Hognose snakes are a big trend right now, which means that the price will probably go a lot less than this The cheapest one that I have found is about $70, but I have seen some for $40 online. They're a very small species that only get about 2 to 3 feet in size. The males stay really small. Here's an example of my female hognose snake versus a male hognose snake that is 3 years old. He's about 71 grams right now, and my female hognose snake is about 370 grams. So if you want a snake that can stay comfortable in a 20-gallon enclosure, then a male hognose snake is a perfect option. Sometimes as babies, they can be a little bit fussy, and if you've seen videos before of them playing dead, it's a really cool thing that they do. They would much rather fake and play dead than to actually bite you. Number 4 on the list is the corn snake. This is a classic beginner snake because they are everywhere. They've been sold in the pet trade since like the 80s and 90s, so I can guarantee you can probably find a normal corn snake for about $10 to $20 at a reptile show, or possibly even online. There's always going to be a shipping charge, but a $20 snake with like a $50 shipping charge, that's $70. Or just go to a reptile store or a expo and you'll find them for a lot cheaper. They have tons and tons of colors and patterns just because of how much they've been bred. They're a very hardy species, and they're also a really calm species as well. They don't really need too much, you know, just give them their enrichment, just give them a nice enclosure. These do get bigger, so I would say anywhere from like a 50 to 75 gallon enclosure. Of course, with Craigslist or Kijiji or whatever you use, it's really easy to find enclosures that are cheap now. The next species on this list is actually endemic to North America. It is the Rosy Boa. Every time somebody hears the word boa, they think of like these large snakes that are just gonna constrict you and size you up and all this kind of like weird stuff that people say. But that's not the case with these Rosy Boas. The biggest that they'll actually get is about 2 to 3 feet. They're a really chill snake. They're slow moving. They live 20 to 30 years, and they don't need a lot of humidity. A lot of different boa species need humidity, but these Rosy Boas, like I said, they're from North America. You can find them in California, Mexico. You can even find them in Nevada. And so they're a lot lower humidity than people think they are. They're pretty low maintenance, and they're overall just a really cool species to have. The cheapest I've seen them at is about $40. If you go to a reptile show, you'll see what I'm talking about when I'm like, okay, you can find a lot of cheap animals everywhere, and every table at that show is going to have something different. I love going to the Sacramento reptile show because every time I go, I find something I didn't even know existed. The next species on this list is a ball python. I know I said that they're not as best beginners for a lot of people, but a lot of people do get them as beginner snakes. The main reason that I would get a ball python for a beginner snake is just because their natural defense is to actually ball up instead of strike. Now there is those outliers that, you know, are aggressive or, you know, just kind of not, I wouldn't say aggressive, but defensive, but they mainly just ball up for defense, hence their name. You could practically get a ball python for free nowadays. Just like corn snakes, they've been in the pet trade for so long now that a normal will probably cost you $10 to $15. And a nice looking snake like a piebald that used to be like $1,000 or even like $500 is now just about like $100. I think I saw a ball python that was like a piebald for $100, and then albinos you can find for like $150 to $200. They've been mass produced in all these different types of morphs and colors, and there's a lot of online support for keepers. So if you're concerned about ball python feeding, more often than not you'll find that ball pythons like to go on little hunger strikes. But like I said, there's a huge support online, on Facebook, on Google, on, you know, all these different classifieds that you can see, you know, what to do if your ball python is not eating. The last species on this list, and is growing in popularity due to more colors coming out and different subspecies and all this kind of stuff, is the garter snake. Garter snakes are endemic to basically the entire world except like Alaska and the North and South Pole. They're very easy to feed. They will literally just eat anything from like worms and birds and fish, rodents. They'll basically eat anything out of your hands. They are a snake that you often find in the wild around other snakes. If you're gonna cohab them, of course you need a bigger and bigger enclosure. For one garter snake, it's really easy to keep them in a 29 or a 30-gallon enclosure. My favorite garter snake is the California red-sided garter snake. It's like a red and blue garter snake. Those ones are really popular right now, and I don't think they're that much money. I just fact-checked myself, and these red-sided and blue-sided garter snakes are going for like $3,000. At least that's what I just saw right there. But there is a ton of different garter snakes that you can get that are blacks and reds, yellows, purples and yellows, all these different types of colors. And I'm seeing like $70, $100. They're not that much. Just looking at captive bred, not wild, but captive bred garter snakes, normals are going for like $50 to $60. So I think that's a really good price for a garter snake. So whether you want a boa, a python, a couch potato, a really active snake, doesn't really matter. Let me know what snake you're inclined to buy as a beginner, and if you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below and watch these next videos right here. Peace out.